So now we are going to talk a little bit more about the diploma program from the Mackenzie Diploma program.
Sure.
And so could you tell us what is the program, how does one get in, and what are the steps to the whole program?
Yeah, sure. So the Mackenzie Diploma program is, well, it is considered the highest level of training that one can get in the Mackenzie approach. If you become faculty, then that's another sort of different kind of training, and one could consider it a higher level, but that's really more pedagogical and not so much the actual, the hard skills of what is MDT. So really in terms of the hard skills and some of the soft skills of MDT, the diploma is the highest level of training. And we'll talk about I guess I'll talk about the prerequisites. In order to do the diploma program, one of course has to do part A, B, C, D, and then the credentialing exam. If you want to do what some people call part E, or what they call now advanced extremities, if you want to do that course, then that's fine, but it's not a prerequisite for the diploma program. If someone does CSUs, that's in Canada, we call them CSUs, which means clinical skills update, or in the United States, they call it clinical decision-making course or a master class. All of those are great, and you can do conferences and all that, but those are not technically prerequisites for the diploma program. The only prerequisites are having passed the credentialing exam, and to do that, of course, you need part A through part D. Mm-hmm. And so then you apply, and the applications are usually need to be done by the end of September, I believe, or sometimes it's early September, sometimes late September, but usually early fall, the deadline, that's when the deadline is. And then the actual program starts in the winter. So usually January, February, the actual program starts for that year. And they don't take an unlimited amount of people. You know, it's a finite number of people. That number sometimes changes year to year, but usually it's around between 20 and 25 people is usually sort of the maximum number of the cohort in a year. So you look at all the applications quite carefully, and unfortunately some people are not accepted into the program. And if you are accepted into the program, then you start in January, February, and you start with the theoretical component. And the theoretical component essentially is 1 semester of online learning. So there's an online platform that's used. I think this is becoming more and more common now, especially with the pandemic. Everyone's doing online learning. But this has been going on for a long time. Pre-COVID, this was going on for the Mackenzie Institute. It's 1 semester of online learning, which is really neat because there are kind of some lectures that you listen to, but a lot of it is also conversational with other diploma candidates from around the world. I mean, they call it the International Diploma Program, and you really can't forget how international it is. There are really people from all over the world, which makes things complicated in terms of time zones. I'll tell you, you're trying to set up a meeting with someone in Mumbai, and it's like, oof, well, maybe 7 a.m. for me, and that's 11 p.m. for you, and it can be a little bit tricky. But it's neat. You get to connect with people from around the world, a lot of conversation, and you realize how much you can learn just from kind of working through issues with colleagues, and obviously doing tons of research. There's a lot of reading, a lot of articles to look at, and so a lot of self-learning through that online component. But you're being guided and cued and brought along the way the whole time by various instructors, and so it's really an excellent program. Some people make the mistake of trying to continue to work full time while doing the online component, and usually by the 3rd or 4th week they realize they're going to break.
Work.
You only have 24 hours in the day, and if 8 of those are spent with work and then another 3 or 4 are spent with the family, then what's left to do your diploma? Not very much. So I do recommend that people take that into consideration. The Institute recommends it. I do it as well, that either you cut down your hours a little bit, or you consider even, taking some time off to really focus on that online component to get the most out of it. Just like any kind of learning, the more you put in, the more you get out of it. sure, you can scrape by just doing the basic readings and basic participation, but it's such a unique program, and it is so specialized, and it's, in a way, it's quite elite, right? You've got to be kind of, it's just sort of like a program for the best of the best, in a way. Like that kind of program, you don't want to just shrug it off and be like, I'll scrape by, it's okay. Like, no, this is the kind of program that you want to give yourself, 100%, if not 110%, to get into it, so that you can take out as much of it as you can. Then that online component, being the semester, usually ends kind of like as a usual typical university semester might finish in April or May kind of thing. And if you've successfully completed that semester, then you're allowed to continue on with the clinical component. And most people do continue on, but unfortunately, some people don't get past that theoretical component. And so, at every level, the Institute is quite careful to make sure that people meet certain standards to move on to the next level of training. And that's one part of the Institute that I respect very much.